Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I stand back and I watch you explore in perfect visions like I've been here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many drinks got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Not that you're gone. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem to move. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I'm cold, steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents, daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. I'm gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Come cold blood, selfish. Your words are painless. I like when I drive and feel so dangerous. They say I'm a red flag, 'cause they want it so bad. You should know I'm holding on to what I have. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon.
I wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain, but I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you changed. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe her, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the fun. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the fun. But if I'm seem to slow down. I don't know if I want to, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down. I don't know if I want to.
Seek to find is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Follow the light of a world that's blind. In your eyes I see there's a place for me. There's a
Hello, everybody. It is a fabulous day for a final. We are here with NECC Division 1 of Overwatch to the top of the mountain. It is Fisher. It is Northwood. I am Jobin, joined today by Ray. And what an honor, what a treat. Two of the most competitive programs in all of collegiate, Overwatch 2 aside, now come together to clash in a best of 7, first of 4, if you will, to see who will walk away as the Winter NECC Division 1 champion.
Yeah, fall semester to determine who gets that automatic bid to the final tournament at the end of the spring semester next year. Can't believe it's already about to be next year. Anyway, finals are happening, school's coming to an end for this semester. Everyone's having their holiday cheer, but it's time to figure out who's going to take home this championship as we have the number 3 ranked Northwood going up against the number 4 ranked Fisher. This is going to be high octane, high action packed, high skilled Overwatch as we see the rosters of the teams below. I'm sure you guys are going to recognize all of these names. They are staples in the Overwatch community when it comes to OWCS, when it comes to collegiate, just best NA players.
Yeah, when we talk about best on best, this is exactly the kind of matchup we're talking about. Every single player on there, definitely recognizable. They've been there, they've done that, whether it's with their respective schools they're on now or other programs they transferred from where they still had success. Like you mentioned, a lot of tier 2, a lot of professional experience, and even Fisher and Northwood programs in general, they go back years and years since both of them have been around in the esports scene, battling it out in every single other title on land dozens of times, it feels like at this point. So there is so much history between these teams. It does feel like Northwood gets the better of them more times than not. And the last time these two teams faced off, Northwood, they definitely put a stamp on what they think is a one-sided rivalry.
Yeah, it definitely was 3-0 in the upper side of this bracket, but they meet again in the winners finals. I will say for the Northwood side, a lot of those players were at OWCS, and NA did not have the best showing. So I'm sure a lot of these players are ready to get back into the server and show what NA can do. As you can see, first map going to be Ilios, a much more dive-oriented map as Northwood's going to ban Zarya, which makes sense. We saw Fisher even in OWC for that collegiate bracket. They loved to play their Zarya, and them in response, they're banning Freya, which Chronic has been an absolute monster on that Friday, and it's so good on a map like Ilios.
Yeah, the matchup that I was just talking about as well, Fisher and Northwood, they actually did play Ilios map 1, and Northwood walked away with a 2-0 win. I guess I should add as well. Northwood, basically in that last series, they didn't lose anything. They won everything blank to 0, whatever the game mode was, whatever the score was. They basically shut Fisher out the entire way through. So it was certainly a one-sided matchup. But the beautiful thing about these double elim brackets, we get to see the run back. We get to face off again for all of the marbles. And Fisher and Northwood here on Ilios, the grand final is underway.
Yes, these diva compositions really match up against each other. Hydron going over to Symmetra. We saw just how much the Symmetra compositions absolutely dominated for Twisted Minds at OWCS, and it was with these diva compositions. So let's see how Fisher has adapted.
Yeah, it's all about who can draw first blood in the fight, and it actually is going to be Fisher, a little tank-on-tank violence. Painkiller going to be the first ship to fall in the first team fight. Fisher, they're going to swarm to the point. It should be an early capture for them. So, and with these teams especially, one small mistake, you can almost assuredly know that that is going to be punished by the other side.
Yeah, things are going to be really tough for the side of Northwood. If you're going to be running this Sombra Tracer, you got to be getting pretty good reliable hacks and have everyone ready to coalesce on a single target. But, however, despite having a Symmetra, Fisher allows the point to flip.
Yeah, we do see Chronic rocking the Sombra as well, too, so just trying to shut down some of those solo targets, be an annoying little pest in the backline, maybe take out one of the supports just like that. A little bit of chip damage onto 2 of the backline, able to translocate back to safety in the meantime. Hydron able to take down Lep. CJ will trade him back, and Fisher, they were able to regain the point. Iron scoops up another kill onto the opposing Diva, and Fisher with a nice job clearing things out for the moment. Rocket trying to get some chip damage in there, but no way to contest the point.
Great opening canvas. We do see Painkiller going over to the Winston now, and I do think this is going to be a rough matchup going into the, especially once you get the major perk online with those better micro missiles. It just eats away at the Winston and makes their job that much harder. That's why we saw so much Diva recently.
Yeah, and that early shutdown from the Sojourn onto the Sombra, that feels like $1,000,000. That was a great shot from Talisman, and then the rest of the team supporting it quite well. Fisher able to stave off the sort of half push from Northwood. They attempted to try to get onto the point. They do get shut down. They're going to be forced to take a full reset, and they're going to have to push back into, I mean, it's basically going to be a 10 ulti fight by the time the dust settles. Painkiller, the only one a little bit far away, but will be ready to go sooner than later.
Yes, Fisher is already coming into this matchup looking incredibly strong. I think most people would favor Northwood initially coming into here, but so far so good. And the Pulse Bomb's going to miss.
Yeah, and we're going to see Dueling Kitsunes, the beats getting sent in. Hydrant's going to try to split the map as best as they can. Nobody dead in the fight quite yet, and it's the Fisher beat that's going to end up being the swinging move. And they're going to find 3 on the back side of it. Northwood only left to the DPS and the support. CJ and Chronic had to get out of there. And Northwood dumping everything they had into the fight. They actually will have the beat drop in the EMP. So still some playmaking potential, but the clock and the situation not favoring them.
They should be able to get a touch just in time, and they are. They gotta find a way to use this EMP, but they keep getting spy checked.
Yeah, Talisman's gonna pop the overclock. Lep's beat drop is getting shredded by all this Sojourn damage from the high ground, and now they just basically have to evacuate. They do actually flip the point back in their favor, so Fisher just ultimately deciding to give them some of that space. That's gonna be a 5-man EMP onto all of Fisher. That is exactly what Chronic was looking for on the Sombra, and Northwood able to piece together a nice fight on the backside of it.
I really like seeing the adaptations Northwood has made, especially Rocket going over to the Venture. That's one of the heroes that can be quite a nuisance to the Symmetra is the Venture. Being able to do the dig, you know, you just do so much damage and displace the Symmetra a lot. So I think it's a good adaptation, but they're just so behind the 8 ball right now. They're going to have to win these next 2 fights in a row with not as many ults as they'd be hoping for. The Swift Painkiller can get done with this Primal Rage.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Primal is going to be the absolute key to any of their success, and Painkiller is immediately going to find the pick onto Graves. Doesn't even need to burn the Primal. Plenty of healing from the backline, and now we're going to see a contest on the point. Hydrant and the D.Va going to try to zone him off as best as they can, but now Painkiller popping Primal and Fisher getting deleted from the site. It looks like Northwood able to wrap up that fight just with the Primal Rage alone. And now Fisher, they're going to have a few big tools to come back, but maybe one more big push for them, and that's going to be it.
It's all going to come down to one final fight for both of these teams. So we're looking at Dueling Kitsune rushes, and then we have an Iron who's going to be able to remech. But I think what the killer is going to be in this next fight, Jobin, what can Rocket do with his Tectonic Shock?
Yeah, the adventure we've been seeing, the longer that the character has been out, players have been getting so much more comfortable and so much more creative with some of these engages and some of these setups with the Tectonic Shock, and it looks like we might be in the middle of one right now. That is a lot of chip damage. They're going to take the TP back onto the site. That's a great play out of Fisher, try to avoid the Wombo combo, but the Venture's still alive, taking a ton of damage. Rocket able to survive Fisher's Kitsune rush. Iron's going to have to pop the D.Va bomb, not able to find anything, and it's going to be Talisman to go down first, and a late beat drop from Northwood should surely seal the deal.
It should, but overtime is still ensuing, and they got to get some of these players down. And we see the point of has not coming in. There's still 7% Northwood's going to have to gain. This is going to buy time for Fisher to get their players back, and Rocket's down.
Yeah, Northwood at least flips the point back in their favor, so Fisher, you're going to have to be on the 8-ball here and make sure you stay locked in. We do see Chronic. EMP just burned up, so no ultimate to try to contest these 2 Fisher players. At least enough annoyance with the Sombra to stall them out as long as possible, and actually able to find the shutdown onto Kiwi, and then Talisman just gets comboed. Chronic lighting everybody up, and the rest of Northwood there to follow.
Oh man, Chronic came through in the clutches. They're still trying to do cleanup duty, but this should all be but Northwood's point. Overtime ensues. But the thing in this was Chronic on that Sombra was able to be a nuisance. Found Grapes early in that recontest. Not only that, but just kept getting the Curie for the side of Fisher. They just kept hacking them, kept going after them, not allowing them to make anything happen. Kiwi and Grapes. And then as Talisman's coming back on the Pharah, they hacked him and got him low as well. So Chronic played extremely well there on the Sombra at the end.
Anyone that's been around collegiate esports the last 3 to 4 years, you should expect an absolute fist fight between these two schools. This is exactly the kind of series they always seem to deliver in the biggest moments, and can't be much closer than that. 100-99 with what felt like a 2-minute overtime contest out of both teams winning a fight, the point flipping 4 to 5 times back and forth. But Northwood showing that championship medal. They locked in round 1, and now Fisher's going to have to find the answer. Otherwise, Northwood, when they get rolling early into series, that snowball can become quite hard to stop.
That it is. Here we go. No changes coming up for either team except Rockets going back over to the Tracer for the beginning of this, which we'll see how that goes. But
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see them eventually go back to the Venture, but they get Grapes.
Yeah, I don't even know if he meant to necessarily try to kill Grapes. Grapes just showed up in his crosshair, so that was a freebie for the Northwood DPS, and now Fisher losing 2 players early. That's going to mean it is time to fall back, reset, regroup. Northwood's going to be first to the point, gets the early capture, and they're in pole position to get a nice lead to get us going.
As Chronic got found out having to use the Suzu pretty early, a good thing is there's no really fight ensuing just yet. So we see Hydra putting maximum amount of pressure on a Painkiller, gets the DMAC, and that is the exact opposite of what you're hoping for Northwood.
Yeah, that was worst case scenario, definitely so. Fisher basically getting 2 quick picks. They were very, very keen to it. They jump on the moment, they seize it. That means they're able to get a free capture. Northwood, they are going to, I think, having some fun in the back line there, doing some Lucio things, so we will see what player it actually is. Either way, though, Fisher, they're happy to take the point over. Northwood just about to knock on the door yet again, though.
Painkiller immediately going over to the Winston. No surprise here, does a lot to help with the turrets against the Symmetra. Here we go.
Yeah, it looks like Iron going to try to find a way in there, deal out some of that damage. That railgun shot chunking down one of the players, maybe Chronic or CJ there. Either way, Fisher able to hold on to the point. Northwood throwing a few bodies at it, at least to threaten the contest. Graves going to try to stay alive backside of the fight as long as they can. There's the first ulti of the fight. It's a Fisher Kitsune from Kiwi, and they're going to try to zone off Northwood as good as they can, but Northwood, they do actually end up backcapping the point through all the sort of back and forth through the eternal dance there, and now CJ gets to invest in Kitsune, and Northwood looking to see if they can slightly edge this fight out at the end. Hydran's going to split the site, and we've got a lot more ultis to go.
Yeah, with that photon barrier splitting the point, it's just exactly what Fisher needed in that moment. Chronic still trying to find that EMP to get it online as the point has just been going back and forth. Big ultimate coming online for Talisman to try and make something happen and keep this contest going.
Yeah, and if Chronic can even do 80% of what they did on round 1, this is going to be a nightmare to deal with in the backline. That is a well-timed beat drop to keep the Fisher support alive, but the EMP is going to connect onto all 5 again. Chronic finds his mark, and Fisher able to keep every player alive, though, so we're going to see if there's any follow-up damage, and it's only going to be from the overclock of Talisman. That's a quick 2-piece for the Fisher DPS, and now the Diva Bomb's going to rip Chronic up, but it looks like Northwood, they've got a chance to win the extended fight, but Painkiller has to pop the Primal Rage to stay alive, but that means Northwood gets to keep the point.
Yeah, surprisingly throughout that entire fight where Fisher has the advantage, Northwood had flipped the point and never let it come back, and all the players coming back. The Primals popped, they found Talisman.
Yeah, this extended fight certainly looking to favor Northwood. That late pop of the Primal was fantastic from Painkiller, but then they overextend a little bit, can't reconnect with the supports, you get taken down, and now Fisher can just look to put the foot forward, and they should be able to gain some space on the pointer, but the Venture and Rocket, an absolute thorn in the side. Luckily, Iron shutting him down, but just like you said, Northwood, they are on the dawn of winning this map.
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of player advantage you're going to have, it's likely you're going to be able to flip this point right here, especially with the Kitsune rush investment.
Yeah, we do see Rocket. That tectonic shock could certainly be a game changer. The Kitsune rush, that was enough for Northwood to signal the back button. They are ready for Lep, CJ, Rocket, and Chronic to set up an absolute combo on Fisher's heads. Fisher only coming in with the Diva Bomb and that Photon Barrier so far, so they've got to navigate this early fight very tightly.
Here we go. Final fight for both of these teams. Let's see how this tectonic shock's gonna go for Rocket.
Oh, it's a free pick onto the DPS. Talisman is just out of there, and now the tectonic shock can deal out the rest of the damage. Hydra doesn't have a chance, and it looks like Grapes is in for a bit of a rude awakening as well. Rocket, now detached from the rest of the team, doesn't even matter. Northwood, same story, different series. Map 1 is a 2-0 on Ilios, despite the absolute counter punch that Fisher tried to throw.
What a great first map from both of these teams. I mean, first map goes 99-99, second map just as close. It's just really coming down to these small micro things, micro adjustments, micro plays coming out from Northwood time and time again. On map number 1, it was Chronic. Chronic just going absolutely insane in that final fight on the Sombra. And to me, in that fight on the second one, it just kept so many players, the point just kept flipping so fast, but it was just Northwood's ability when they had the point to take full advantage and get as much percentage as they could with the primal, with all these different ults, despite being in losing situations.
And even going back to round 1, when Fisher found the first pick 2 to 3 times, Northwood, it never really got a full team push till Fisher's at 65-70%. But once Northwood gets their foothold on that point and they get the setup they want and they can target who they want, it is just an unstoppable force. You have to play perfect plus just to get out of the spawn sometimes, and let alone to try to get a capture on them. And just once they get that grip on you, it basically impossible for many teams to get out of. And even though Fisher came that close, the result still the same. They are still down 1-0.
I will say though, Iron's a very flexible tank, but they have shown throughout this last meta and these last few tournaments that Zarya has been a very beneficial tank for that Fisher roster. And that was ban map number 1. There was a reason why Northwood immediately went to that. So I mean, yeah, you get your 1-0 start, but from here on out, especially since we're going first to 4, Northwood has Fisher has a lot of adjustments they can make, and they will be able to have their pick of the litter when it comes to the tanks going forward, and give Iron the best position to put him in on the best tank to be able to carry for the team.
Yeah, and that's where I loved kind of the best of 7 first to 4 strategy can come in. It just has to extend how much thought process the teams have to use. And even like you said, Northwood, they're a team that I could even see them saying, listen, we're going to ban all their best stuff as early as possible. If we can go up 2 or 3-0, we are confident that we are not going to lose that series. It's not a series that they typically lose. They've shown they can beat Fisher maybe 8 out of 10 times in the past, depending on the title. So it's certainly not a team they're scared of. Obviously, the respect bans paid off huge in map 1, but again, they're just such a confident team that they're going to feel good no matter what's in front of them. And Kings Row, obviously, everybody's confident with this map. It's just all going to come down to execution with these two squads.
Yeah, it's just been a map that we've all known and loved since release of Overwatch. So excuse me, it's no surprises here as we do see bans coming in from both sides. The Kiriko coming out from the side of Northwood, which is interesting because I think both Kiris were equally doing fine. Kiwi and CJ both having their moments and their times. And the Ramatra coming in from Fisher. To me, when it comes to Painkiller, is not necessarily set in I must play Ramatra. It is one of their better tanks that they have, but I could see Painkiller just as easily be like, okay, let's just run the Orisa, let's run Malga, whatever. We will see how this goes. My question is, what do these teams look to do with no Kiri on the board? Do we go to more of, I had a feeling maybe we go Lucio Bap at this point?
Yeah, I was going to say there's very few games that at least I've seen in Collegiate where either team is willing to ban the Kiriko just because they both want to play it so bad, and they're kind of willing to just gentleman's agreement, firm handshake, we're both going to play it, it's all good. But the Lucio Bap, certainly a staple combo over here on Kings Row. I do love to see Mies that early peak with the Widowmaker. I don't know if Fisher's going to give any bait to Chronic, but you always got to test the waters at least. No shocking picks to come through. There's the Orisa that we thought might go through with the Ramatra ban. So again, Painkiller had options. Orisa, certainly a strong pick on Kings Row. Just got to see if Iron can pilot this diva just a little bit better. They played well, but they have to play excellent to beat Painkiller.
As we are going to see Painkiller pulling out the Zarya in the end, which, I mean, considering that Iron's playing the diva, that's going to be a very tough matchup. So for Iron, you have to just make sure you play your high ground, play your distance. And they just got to be careful and not allow Painkiller to gain just a bunch of free, easy charge to where they can start melting people very quickly. And for Northwood, they're doing exactly what they need to do. Force point.
Yeah, Northwood, exactly that. And that's the one thing that you love to see with teams that are just so well synced with each other. They trust the player next to them. They trust that they're going to make the right play at the right time. Once they see that perfect window of opportunity, they are not going to let it slip. They're going to instantly send it for it. They're just slowly trying to put that squeeze on Fisher in the early going, try to get that early tick progress about halfway to that first tick. Painkiller just able to soak all the damage on the point. And right now, yet to see a kill, but both teams looking to see if they can break through in a moment's notice.
As we see that disruptor shot time and time again from Talisman, just trying to change the positioning, but Kiwi's the one who finds the first pick onto Rocket.
Yeah, Kiwi a little bit low themselves, but still a big pick for Fisher. You take down one of the DPS, see some good healing coming through from Kiwi off the high ground as well. Northwood, they were able to grab a tick, and they're also able to grab Hydran's life in the crossfire, so tick number 2 might just be on the menu here in a moment, and Northwood, they might just be off to a decent little hot start here.
As Window's going to be available for Kiwi, they're going to pop it. They got to be careful.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage going through, but it looks like Northwood able to heal up a little bit of it. Unfortunately, Rocket, the lone victim out of the window combo from Fisher, but hey, Northwood, they're able to get that early capture, so you trade your DPS's life, you're able to get the early capture, and now you've got Fisher on the back foot. Sounds like a great trade.
I was gonna say, with Chronic sniping out Hydron early in that re-engage, basically it took all the damage you had off of the field. So it's like you couldn't really force point. Your Zarya was high charged, so the Diva couldn't really do anything. So without all that missing damage, they just had to back out and just allow that to be capped.
Yeah, there wasn't really a good option to end the fight. We are going to see Rocket looking to get in there. Grapes does take down Chronic for first blood, so Fisher maybe can at least stall out a little bit of time here. And the name of the game now is just going to be incremental advantages. A kill here, a kill there. Don't let Northwood get, infinitely fast progress going up these streets and through these archways. They just have to play stall ball as long as they can, but there's a lot of ultis getting online, and Hydra will not be alive to see the fight.
And now the Tectonic Shock and the Overclock and Beats coming out. This is an ulti fiesta.
Yeah, both teams really deciding they want to win this team fight. Iron's going to pop the Diva Bomb. The lamp from Kiwi is going to get dispatched of. Nobody dead in the fight quite yet besides that early first pick that we saw, the Photon Barrier. Going to split both teams in half here and try to defend Fisher for the moment. Northwood not really able to establish any level of progress, but when you look at those ultimates, Window, Graviton, Overclock, that sounds like a disgusting combo that Fisher has got to be aware of, and your Lucio not going to be around for a bit.
I was going to say, they don't even need these ultimates either because of the late staggers. They're continuing to getting so much free progress. And to me, overall, Fisher just invested so much into that for no cart control, no space control. And Northwood, like you mentioned, is going to be able to re-engage. Here we go, the window, they already found 2!
Chronic instantly bopping 2 to start the team fight, and Fisher, that is a quick sign to run for the hills, not even needing the overclock. Actually, that was just railgun Window. Thought he had popped the overclock, so much damage so quickly. So still a massive tool in the back pocket for the Wolves here. And Fisher, I mean, they are just slowly melting away at the weight of Northwood. They are already at the second checkpoint, and they've got 4 minutes and 19 seconds to make ends meet.
And they still have those 2 crucial ultimates of the Overclock and the Grab, and you don't even have to combo them. Both of those ultimates can just win you team fights on their own. So Kiwi gonna have to get maximum amount of value from this window. Most likely gonna be placing something on the high ground, but they've already found Chronic.
Yeah, we are going to see the Graviton invested from Painkiller as the answer. The lamp at least going to keep everybody alive for the moment. Painkiller looking to maybe back off for the moment with Rocket going down. I assume, trying to hold the front line down for a bit, but ultimately, Northwood, they will finally have to stop the progress for a few seconds. They're going to look for a full regroup here, a few ultimates on the dawn of getting online, and they've got more than enough time to set up a well-calculated push.
That's the team fight win we needed to see from the side of Fisher. Not only did they not commit any ults, but they got the Graviton Surge out of Painkiller.
And Hydran gets absolutely deleted despite the fact that that was Kiwi's window that got put down. So maybe a sick twist of fate there for the side of Fisher, but they are able to find something in the follow-up. It is just a 1-for-1 fest, but Chronic getting the last one in the feed for the moment. Graves doing their best to survive, but that is not an easy place to live. And Northwood, yet again, just a bit of a mismatched fight. Fisher didn't really have any ultimates quite online to try to make that a, for sure win. And now Northwood back on the prowl, only, about 40 meters to go.
Graves with the sound barrier in toll. I think the one thing they've taken quite advantage of is this Photon Barrier, and they're going to use it this fight.
Yeah, window beat Fisher. They realize that the time is now. They might not have many more chances to try to dig their heels or dig their way out of this one, but Northwood, honestly, I don't hate this call at all. Yeah, you burn the overclock, but Fisher wants to pop more than one ultimate. Yeah, let's just disengage. We've got plenty of time to try to win a massive team fight, and we're going to start by picking off Hydran for what feels like the 4th time. The Tectonic Shock out of Rocket, looking to try to clear some of that high ground. The window going online for CJ as well. That lamp going to keep a few Fisher players alive. Kiwi looking a little bit worse for wear, and Rocket eventually going to find the rundown onto the support. Talisman doing a great job to find one back in exchange. sides, both teams still trying to fight this one out, but it looks like Northwood, they are slowly but surely putting it down, and they will finish the map with time to spare.
2+ minutes being able to cap that on Kings Row, extremely impressive. And to me, what that final push came down to was, yes, I think that the chronic overclock is extremely threatening. I don't think it is let me pop photon barrier and beat threatening. Like, you don't need both of them. Like, either place a really good wall to where there's not a whole lot that chronic's going to be able to do from the position they're at, or just use beat to save your team. You didn't need both. They would have wished they could have had the other, because, you know, let's say you save beat and you just use the wall to kite off that overclock, then you would have had beat for that tectonic shock. So I think Fisher's just got to clean that up a little bit, but I still think this is a very close series. I still like the Hydron Symmetra and the amount of pressure it's able to place, because, like, every time you get clumped up in a group like that, Hydron just gets that high beam and is able to melt people relatively quickly.
Yeah, and I do love for the Northwood side just taking a peek at the scoreboard. Lep yet to die, so the Lucio staying alive and literally the entire game supporting. Always nice to see just little nuggets like that that can at least show that, listen, this player is all over the place right now, not getting caught, not out of position. That is exactly what you're looking for. Even a few of the other members only getting taken down once or twice as a collective. So Northwood looking like Northwood so far on Kings Row. Fisher, you've got a tall order to fill here. They've got to get a nice team fight early on. They've got to try to find this early pick. They've got to isolate some sort of target, some sort of plan of execution. Otherwise, Northwood, we see them just put out people's lights very quickly.
Taking advantage of those TPs to get themselves in a great position on the high ground. So Northwood's got to make sure they are rotating properly to deal with these positions. Normally, if you keep rotating the high ground, the way you do it is you just keep rotating all the way around, and eventually the defenders become in the position where the attackers would be.
Yeah, and the first blood will be drawn there by Painkiller. The bubble will get him to save. Now we're going to see Talisman. I kind of like the aggression. As long as you're able to find something out of it, you certainly don't want to be too disjointed from the squad. That lamp certainly going to be an annoyance for the Fisher side, and they're just trying to completely box in Northwood right now. They send 2 to the flank, and everybody else just trying to fight face up, and unfortunately, trying to face up a Venture is not going to go well for you. Fisher going to find out the hard way. One more target on site to take down Rockets on a rampage, and Northwood's off and away. Rolling start.
Yeah, and a late stagger onto Iron, who's Baby Diva. And I think what Fisher learned is you do not want to meet Rocket when he's on Venture in a small room like that, in a small hallway, in a small corridor. Like, that's just Venture's field day to just pepper damage in, use your dig, get full value out of it. So again, Fisher's going to be able to re-engage. Not making any swaps so far, but again, taking this positioning away from Northwood is step number 1.
Yeah, and Fisher's been trying as best as they can, but Painkiller is just zapping people every single fight, whether it's Rocket or Painkiller. Fisher's playing with 4 players, what feels like the entire early part of this Kings Row on offense. They haven't even really gotten enough progress on the point to start a tick, but finally a shutdown onto Rocket might finally be the somewhat opening that they need. I don't even know if they can necessarily send it to the point yet with no ultimates, but it's at least maybe something to work off of, especially if you can take down CJ.
There we go. That's what they needed. And that was everyone full aggressing, even with the bubble still able to take down CJ. That's what I need to see from Fisher. Now they're going to start. I see that Chronic gets the exiting pick onto Hydron, though. Things are not set in stone yet.
And they were never able to grab that tick because Northwood was able to contest and Fisher just didn't full commit it. So I'm not even sure they're going to get anything after this long extended fight. They burned Window and the Diva Bomb, but Northwood, all they use is the beat drop. Look at those ultimates they're still hoarding in the back pocket. They've got so much for the end of the fight or the next fight. But with Iron down,
the fact that they're able to patiently win that fight, Jobin, that is insane work coming out for the side of Northwood. And one ult commit despite being down like 2-3 at different moments in that fight. And they couldn't get value out of that window from Kiwi. Just great positioning, great timing.
The read out of Painkiller catches them on the TP, able to use the Graviton, at least hold them all in place for the moment. That's going to force the Photon Barrier out of Hydron. And look at sneaky Rocket Raccoon here, trying to see if he can just find the absolute Giga Tectonic Shock. Graves is going to send the beat in early. Fisher, this might just be your last actual team fight to try to save Kings Row. And they're going to find a few quick kills to get themselves going. The Tectonic Shock in the window, not nearly enough to stop the Fisher onslaught. It was the early graviton of Painkiller to see if they could maybe combo Fisher right off rip. Does not come to fruition, and despite the fact that Northwood has a massive lead still on the map, Fisher gets to keep on playing.
I will say, though, pressure is on for the side of Fisher at this point because you finished with over 2 minutes on the clock if you're Northwood. Fisher has to finish with time on the clock, so they can't just get caught on a bunch of chokes and waste a bunch of time. They got to get moving. They got to get moving quick, but they're going to be facing a chronic overclock in this next fight.
Flawless Overwatch 2 will pretty much be required if Fisher wants to actually make a stand here on Kings Row. You've got Northwood trying to group up as best as they can. Iron looks like they're going to try to send it right away. The overclock from Chronic. Let's see if this can shut down any of these Fisher backline members potentially and sway a fight in the Northwood favor. A little bit of chip damage, but that overclock ultimately more of a zoning tool than anything. But with Northwood having such a big time advantage, it's honestly not the worst thing in the world. And right now, Fisher just looking for any way to find a pick, scrape something by. They just cannot get to the cart.
I think their tool of engagement for being able to get some pressure and some kills is going to be this window coming out from Kiwi.
Yeah, they set the TP in the window, and it looks like they're going to try to sit on the lamp near the cart as well. Dueling lamps will go through, and Northwood walking him down and running him out of town. Now we've got Iron on 1 HP, and despite the fact that Painkiller goes down, Fisher is left in an absolute heap. They will be sent back to the spawn, basically a team kill for Northwood. And with those ultimates skyrocketing in percentage on the Northwood side, you've got to think that they've got a stranglehold on this game.
But Northwood's down Painkiller. Painkiller on the Zarya is going to take a while to get back, so they have to back up. They have to afford space. And when Painkiller gets back, not going to be nearly as high charge, so they're going to have to be worrying about that as well. So here we go. Now they're able to reposition and take another fight on this next corner.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying for Fisher. You're not going to probably get that full team ace team fight win. You've got to find your incremental advantages, these small micro wins where you can. We're going to see the beat drop sent in out of Lep early, and it's going to provide Rocket with easy access to a kill on Talisman. And Northwood, if they're able to just stagger one of these ultimates to find a pick, they are well on their way to winning the map. Now Painkiller's going to get his nice little stagger on Kiwi. Iron's going to get sent into baby mode and immediately sent to the gray screen. And Northwood's got Fisher hustling back to spawn.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the side of Fisher, you're going to probably get one more fight off of this based on how much time is left on the clock and the spawns. They're going to have a lot of ults to be able to work with here, but Northwood just has so many engagement tools defensively here. They got to be careful of this Painkiller grab.
Yeah, they just have everything under the sun. Tectonic Shock grab could certainly be a game-ending combination. Looks like they tried to hit the Sim TP to get out of dodge. They are going to force Graves' beat out early. And Northwood still sitting on the window. The Graviton and Chronic will very well have that overclock online momentarily. So a lot of power tools here to try to shut down one last Fisher push. And they've got plenty of tools too. But when two of your players get instantly shut down, there's just no hope left for the side of Fisher. Northwood is just going to clean them up and finish this map.
Wow, what a statement coming in from Northwood. We talked about Ilios and how that map was relatively close, all things considered. Northwood comes into here, bans the Kiriko, and absolutely dominates in the BAP Lucio mirror and says, They're even the ones who banned Zarya on map 1, and just look how well Painkiller played the Zarya.
That is a confidence level that you cannot teach. It is built on experience, trust in your teammates. Literally, just the phrase, pick me, whatever, we're going to win, we're going to do just fine. And this series is now officially identical. I had to pull up the other series again. It was 2-0 Ilios, and then it was a shutout on Kings Row in map 2, and map 3 ended up being a Flashpoint Runasapi, which Northwood also basically ran them out of town on. So this is going to be interesting to see where Fisher actually decides is somewhat of a place for comfort. I know going up against Northwood, is there really a map that you can look at and say, yep, we know we are better than these guys? It's got to be hard to have that discussion.
Yeah, a lot of just great strategies, great positioning, great plays coming out from both teams, but specifically Northwood, and the reason why they are up 2-0 in this series. We are going to take a quick break, allow Fisher to recoup themselves, figure out what map they want to go to next. This is a 1st to 4, folks, so we are not done just yet. Fisher has plenty of time to make some adjustments, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And welcome back, everybody, to NECC. We've got our Overwatch 2 Division 1 Grand Finals. Unfortunately, the second verse is looking similar to the first. Northwood beating Fisher 2-0 currently in the first of four, fresh off of a sweep, I think 14 calendar days ago, where they ran through them 3-0 like it was nothing. And we are on track for another similar outcome unless Fisher can piece something together. Map 1 looked a lot more competitive. Map 2 looked like the gap started to widen quite a bit.
We're going to have to see, as we do know the next map choice coming in from the side of Fisher, and we will be going to New Junk City. So Flashpoint map. Wouldn't surprise me if we look at Fisher and possibly see a Zarya mirror. I mean, again, I talked about it. Iron has been very good at it. It's been one of the back pocket picks for this Fisher squad. But the other problem is, now for the side of Northwood, Painkiller is going to have the pick of the lot. You could go back to that Ramacha, which can't be banned anymore. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't take the Zarya mirror. I mean, it looked great on King's Row. But basically Painkiller is just going to be able to play whatever they're feeling on this next map.
And that's got to be so freeing as a team. Even like Fisher, to some degree, they're obviously one of the best teams we have in Collegiate. But Northwood, they can sit down at their PCs, regardless of the pick and ban, regardless of the map, regardless of the mode, lock in 5 heroes and say, you know what? We think we got a good shot. Just like you said, Painkiller, whether it's a Zarya mirror, looks like we're getting the early hover on the Ramatra mirror. They're just so diverse, and these hero pools are as deep as the ocean. And it looks like we're going to basically have, we are going to have full mirror comps.
Fisher did decide to ban that pesky venture that we saw coming out from Rocket. So Rocket's like, all right, Hydron, I will match you on this Zarya. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think that was a bad ban for Fisher. Rocket, it took like, I don't know, it took him like 2 to 3 minutes to get going on the venture. Once he got online, took over so many fights. That POV hiding in the corner, tectonic, shocking 3-4 players. Definitely a respect ban to no end. Painkiller able to swing the big fist and shut Hydron down. The Talisman putting one right between the eyes of Rocket. Unfortunately for Fisher, Northwood, that secondary assault, that onslaught, looks like it is going quite well for them. Iron is isolated, and Northwood, they're going to win the first round of the Rumble in the Jungle and take point A.
Very well played. Again, this is with the symmetric composition. It's all about how you use these TPs. Whether you fake and take advantage and get aggressive, you use it to get on top of someone specific. And to me, on that one, Northwood did a great job with Rocket, who hadn't played this all series. So this first time bringing it out, so far so good. Who Hydron's already shown how proficient they are on this Symmetra.
Yeah, there's so much skill between all these players. That's why it's just, even when somebody steps out 9 pixels out of the wrong place, or they symmetric TP onto the wrong frame, punishments are going to happen. These teams are going to find these massive chances to just take full advantage, start to snowball the game in their favor. Look at the Fisher flank right now, materializing and then some. They popped up jump scare Northwood, and they were able to shut down both of the DPS. There's the Hydron and Talisman duo we were looking for. And not a moment too soon. It's going to be about 80, 79, 80%. Fisher will flip.
But essentially on Flashpoint, that's one fight territory. So
yeah.
if Northwood's able to come back and win the next fight, they're probably getting this point. But every team coming up on quite a few ultimates. I expect Fisher to get aggressive quickly, not give Northwood any room to breathe, any quick angles to get in.
Yeah, you've got to poke them out as best as you can and just be alert of where Rocket and Co are trying to flank from. And Chronic going to be the one to lead the dance, the tip of the spear with the overclock. And now it's going to be Kitsune beat coming out of Fisher. Northwood, they haven't invested dual sub-ults yet. They're just willing to try to fight this one out as plain as they can. It looks like Fisher, though, just the 2 support ultimates, more than enough to win them that big team fight. So Northwood, yes, they will have big cooldowns for the next fight. They do actually burn the late Kitsune. So honestly, for Fisher, that was a fantastic trade, I think, or at least good.
To me, it's sufficient. Both teams going to have the exact same amount of ultimates coming in this one. Really, I think everything pretty much cancels out. Like Photon Bears will cancel each other out for overclock, and then 2 annihilations. Just who gets aggressive and finds something quickly and early.
Yeah, there's the early beat. Both Ramatras sitting on the Annihilation, 99 to 79 in Fisher's favor. So one more kill may just decide point A here. And now it's going to be the dueling Annihilations. Iron and Painkiller going toe-to-toe here in a phone booth, trying to swing back and forth. Neither of these Ramatras willing to go down yet. The Annihilation will expire. Talisman going to get chunked down to 1 HP. These Fisher health bars, they are a blinking. Northwood looking to slowly put the squeeze on them, and they have found the kills they need. A blood red kill feed and a flipped point, which may just result in them taking the point.
Painkiller played their positioning so well. It was honestly very hard to see what was going on because there was two photon barriers cutting each other on the point, plus the Ramatra shields. But in the end, Painkiller found a good spot to be able to aggress on top of Iron, but also be able to quickly back up and still be an LOS of the supports. Looks like they're trying to catch Northwood on the rotation, but Northwood's doing a great job in just keeping their space.
Yeah, and that's the thing too about these two teams that are so well experienced, so well versed, playing against literally the best players in the world. There's few things that are going to catch them off guard, so you've really got to be on your P's and Q's when trying to make certain plays. Lep going to go have some fun, and the Sun there and follows it up with a combo on the Hydrant's head, and looks like the Northwood support out for blood, taking down the Fisher DPS to get us going. Talisman and Iron, you've got no chance to survive, and Northwood just like that, 4 quick picks and point E to them.
Again, Lep being able to play that aggressive and find picks without getting punished. I mean, what more could you ask for from your Lucio at this point? For the side of Fisher, I'd be looking to use this Kitsune Rush and at least get some kills or at least buy you some space. You gotta be, it's tough pushing through this choke.
Yeah, listen, I spent 2 years at Fisher, went to classes, worked on the broadcast, so if anyone would be rooting for them to try to make a comeback, it would be me. But man, Northwood, they are just looking to be a step above at the moment. They are shutting out every single Fisher attempt at a flank. Every time they try to isolate one of these targets, Lep is there to disengage, and Northwood just playing off each other so well so far. And you do not want to be down 2-0 in a flashpoint to a team of this caliber. That is a tall mountain to climb. And Fisher, I guess, just waiting for some of these ultimates to stack up and then go for that big, big swing.
Here we go, TP in, beat available. Oh, just before the Ajax, that was close.
Didn't even have time to drop the beat. Hydrant is out of there, but it looks like Fisher's dealing out some damage the other way. Rocket getting traded out, but there's the Sojourn 1v1. Chronic winning a big one there in Northwood. They had the secondary beat. They had the Kitsune waiting in tow, and Painkiller's fists are flying. Fisher dropping like flies at Northwood. A firm 2-0 lead here.
Unfortunately, a lot of the times we talk about using your, your ultimates aggressively. I think a lot of times when it comes to sound barriers specifically, like sometimes when you're in a long engaged fight like that, the later sound barrier is the better one. So Fisher needed to find picks aggressively early, and they didn't. So Lep sound barrier just got so much value.
Yeah, maybe a hero shooter, but it's a game of timing, it's a game of cooldowns, it's a game of just general awareness of when and where to pop these big cooldowns that we may only get one chance at. Photon barrier out of Rocket to split the site in the early going, and then a little disruption kill onto Painkiller. That is a cheeky quick pick for Fisher, and that is exactly the openers that you needed. Hydrant able to have another nice flash. We've seen very bright moments mixed in with some, questionable getting caught, but luckily Kiwi and crew able to support the rest of the squad, and Fisher's able to grab onto C.
Yeah, this next point to me for Fisher and the positions they put themselves in, everything is just looking up aces at this point. You're going to have 3 ultimates. You're able to win that fight without having to commit anything and get the photon barrier commit from Northwood. Fisher has put themselves on this 3rd point in a great spot, and they have to reverse sweep this point. So obviously this is the first step in starting that, but they are primed and positioned for it.
Yeah, the mentality has to be 1 kill at a time. Unfortunately, Northwood, they are preaching to the same choir. Kiwi absolutely vaporized to get the fight going, but then Painkiller awkwardly split between the photon barrier. I guess couldn't get to the supports and just absolutely gone from the fight as well. So Fisher able to survive the early onslaught. Obviously, no Northwood ultis invested. They weren't online, and CJ getting a nice little exit on the Talisman, but now you've got Iron trying to run down the back line, so it is getting scrappy early on, and Iron's Annihilation actually active as well, so that cooldown not available for a potential last gasp here from both sides.
As we're going to see a lot of pressure being put on a Chronic, going to go down. Kitsune Rush coming in from Fisher as they're looking for more.
Yeah, Iron looking healthy and looking ready to go. The beat drop at the Kitsune out of Fisher. They realize it is now or never. We literally cannot afford to lose the point. They are able to laser everybody else out of sight, and they will not say die here on New Junk City. They've got one under their belt. 2 more to go.
I will say that was quite a heavy investment for Fisher. They had to have it, so I understand. But they also had to think about the fact that they have to win these next 2 points as well. So they need tools that they're supposed to, because of the fact that they had to use so much, Jobin. This relies heavily on them having to play these sim TPs really well and hoping for like Talisman to find a pick, or them to just get aggressive and get someone because they have no ults.
Yeah, they cannot afford to get picked whatsoever, and I completely agree with what you said. It kind of felt like they had to use those ultimates, even though it feels bad in the moment because you are investing literally everything, but that was the reality of their situation. They got dug in this hole. Northwood got that early massive lead on them, and that's just kind of the spot you're forced to be stuck in. And Painkiller, Annihilation ready to go online. Chronic's got the overclock locked and loaded, and he's going to be able to pick Talisman off to get the fight going. Northwood, that is exactly what you're looking for the first blood, and now you can put that pace on him.
And again, that's just one of your 4 ultimates you're going to have if you're Northwood. And there's going to continue to fight this. I mean, you do find Rocket, but with Iron going down and them looking for more, it just makes things that much more tough. You do get the Photon Barrier at a Hydrant, though. This could not have gone worse for Northwood. I mean, for Fisher, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I guess even Rocket going down, I don't think it forced the beat out of Lep, but Northwood said, listen, we are just making sure that nothing happens in this fight because we trust that Lep's going to get the beat drop online at least one more time for us. We're going to have at least a 70 to 75% lead before Fisher can really show their faces here. So Northwood, again, just staggering the cooldown so well. Doesn't feel like they're ever wasting anything. Everything is timed extremely well, synced up, and Fisher running out of options now. You basically got to get these ultis online and pray it goes well.
Still 70% to beat as well. Grapes going down from the Kitsune rush spam.
Oh, that might be the nail in the coffin, at least for this fight. No beat drop online is going to be very tough fight. Northwood able to walk him down, zone him off, and a 3-0 absolute clutch. Northwood has Fisher in here in the grand final. So far, the exact same result as November 20th, with Northwood needing one more to put the gem in the crown.
Yeah, Northwood putting themselves on championship point to win that fall semester championship and that bid into the final tournament in the spring semester. I mean, again, what's more to say about Northwood? They're just, as you mentioned, they're just on their P's and their Q's at this point. They have been playing fantastic. Like, really, the only time, you know, they have shown any kind of weakness was a little bit on that third flash point. But again, I think that was just Fisher being able to play extremely efficiently. That was Fisher playing up to their potential. We just got to see more of that consistently from them if they want a hope of reverse sweeping.
Yeah, you can very well see that Fisher has the talent and has the teamwork to compete in a lot of these fights, but you said it perfectly. They're just having these little flashes where it's maybe 1 to 2 team fights in a row, everything looks flawless, and then after that, maybe Hydrant's getting picked, one of the supports is getting picked. We saw Grapes, they take the Symmetra TP, instantly blown up on 2 separate occasions by the Ramattra, so just things that Northwood is just ready for these plays to come in. Fisher, again, in that map especially, they were just forced into basically sending the blitz over and over and over. The time and the situation just wasn't on their side, but they just have to find some sort of strategy to take down Northwood. And I mean, listen, winning 4 maps against Northwood is not easy. Winning 4 in a row after being down 3-0 is, whew.
Yeah, it is going to be tough sledding. It's hard enough to come back from down 2-0 and reverse sweep and win 3-2, but having to win 4 maps in a row when this next map is going to be your last map pick and first ban. So going forward, even if you win this next one, the 3 remaining maps will all be Northwood's picks. They will all have the first ban on those. So it is a Mount Everest style climb they're going to be on right now.
Yeah, listen, got to start with 1 game. And honestly, at this point, I'm not even saying, hey, team 1 game at a time. I'm talking 1 kill at a time, 10 meters of progress at a time. Like, you just have to break the game down into these small little victories. I think try to get through map 4 as good as you can. If you can walk away, even if it's a close one, you can say, listen, we bought ourselves another chance at survival. Obviously, like you said, the way the series has been set up with the picks and the bans, definitely favoring Northwood in the late game. And the fact that Northwood is just able to force out respect ban after respect ban, game after game, and also just immediately adjust and say, okay, you want to ban the venture? It's like, yeah, there's still a sojourn open for me, and I'm gonna play completely fine with that. It's a sojourn. So Northwood, so many options, and Fisher are running out of them. I don't even know what they necessarily need to look for, because they've looked good at times and at other times just outclassed.
Which is unfortunate because we said first map where it was like Diva versus Diva or Diva versus Winston. You know, that one was relatively close. Map 2, it was Zarya versus Diva. That did not go well. Third map, it was Ram versus Ram. That didn't go that well either. As we do know, Runa Sapi is going to be potentially our last map as Fisher is trying to look to reverse sweep.
Yeah, and I brought it up earlier as well. Northwood, they took this map handily 2 weeks ago, 3-0 fashion. So Fisher either just comfortable enough on this map, willing to die on this hill if this is going to be the last map of the series. Maybe they like some of the looks that they got a couple weeks ago, or even had some time, got some information. You get to go back, watch the VOD, at least kind of see what specific things Northwood likes to do on certain maps. And maybe you like something you saw on film, but you got to put all that together now, all that semester's worth of work. It comes into one map, one chance to see if you can at least extend the series. You can't even think about winning this series yet. You just got to think about, how do we beat Northwood on Runasapi?
That's going to be the question of the day as we are waiting for the bands to come in. And the question is for Fisher, what do you look to? Ana's an interesting one. We do know that CJ has a great propensity to be able to play that hero, is very, very talented on it. We just haven't really seen Honest that much in the meta. So I don't know if that was a possible protect pick on maybe a Lucy. I don't know, because like it just feels weird. I wouldn't expect Anna to get played, especially when you got Kiri Lucio available.
Yeah, we'll see what Northwood decides to opt into. I'm sure
Northwood
CJ
banned the Ramatra this time. What?
Yeah.
What confidence, man. Ban Zarya on map number 1, then play Zarya on map 2 and just dominate. Then play Ram on 3 and then ban it on map number 4. Like they are just confident.
They are literally just doing whatever they feel like this series, and it has gone basically flawless. The only hiccup was Ilios was pretty damn close for both of the points. It was still a Northwood 2-0. That is the best takeaway that Fisher can have basically from the whole series. Like, it has realistically been downhill since map 1, and King's Row probably a little bit worse than the Flashpoint, but still not great. Iron's gonna opt into the Zarya, Talisman's gonna hover the Reaper for the time being, Painkiller's gonna step up on the Reinhardt, which I love, but this is one of my favorite tanks in the game. I understand he's got his situations and he's got his weaknesses, but this is awesome for me personally.
Let's see how this goes into the Zarya Chronic on the Bastion as well. They are having a great time on Northwood. Let's see how this goes.
That's like a mobile artillery unit. The Bash Bros are breaking down the front doors, and Fisher, Iron, oh, we did actually have a disconnect from Fisher, it does appear. So I guess we're going to see maybe what happens in the next, in the coming seconds. But yeah, it looks like Grapes, unfortunately, not in the game anymore. So that is certainly an issue. I just noticed, saw Iron get killed. I was like, oh my goodness, what a play out of Northwood. Look up, and the spinning wheel of death.
Yeah, a very unfortunate situation. But man, to come out in map 4 on championship point to be like, you know what? Ryan Bastion Sim, let's go, baby. And I mean, they were making it work, man. Again, this is just gonna be about, again, playing your TPs right, and it's gonna be about getting your TP and putting your Bastion into position to set up those artillery, just explosive damage setups.
I mean, and you want to talk confidence. You play Bastion Reinhardt and you tell them to just link arms and play Red Rover. You are literally just saying, we are going to W key you, and there is nothing you could do to stop it. We've got you at melee distance. We've got you at range. If we got one of our supports behind us, I can keep him protected. So that is just confidence in a nutshell. That speaks to exactly how Northwood has been playing. Even you talked about just the way they've been banning and picking the whole series basically says, we don't really care what happens in this part of the game. We're going to hop into the actual game and we're going to handle business. So I do love to see that out of them. Obviously, wish we would have got to see if Fisher was able to find an answer to it and get a little more gameplay out of it. But certainly an interesting curveball from Northwood that might pay dividends. Although Fisher, they've seen it now, so maybe the element of surprise is possibly gone when they load back in. But it still might just be, listen, you might know what it is, but try to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how you're gonna play it if you're Northwood. It's like, we're gonna keep playing this until you can show that you can stop us and you make us, worry about having it to map number 5. That I think that's the only way they have to swap it is if they feel the pressure of possibly losing this map. Because my guess is these teams want to be able to finish this map up quickly. I'm not sure how many finals are still going on, if they're all done yet or not, but if they are, they just want to get back to studying, getting ready for that. Um, so let's see how that goes. We're going to see point progress being made from Northwood. Talisman's going to go over to the Genji now, which I think is going to be a smart choice, and Iron going over to the D.Va. So the defense matrix will obviously be there as they get charged to be able to eat up a lot of that bashing damage. And then you have the Genji who can deflect it as well.
Yeah, Clen's going to keep Painkiller alive for the moment, and obviously, even before the DC, I don't know if Grapes was necessarily at the first fight, but they did get first blood to Northwood, and I think it was 5v5 for a moment, so they get to get first break onto the cart here. Looks like they're going to make about 40 meters of progress. Obviously, got to keep that Reinhardt Bastion front line alive. I absolutely love that. This is potentially the championship clinching combo as a Bastion Reinhardt running you down face to face. That's phenomenal.
As they're rounding the final quarter, getting closer and closer to those forward spawns. Talisman's now also going to go down. Northwood is just playing their positional advantages, even in a comp like this, to a T.
Yeah, they have not made a single mistake so far on Rudasabi. Everything has been by the book. It has been textbook. That is a nice little TP. The Clean's going to come through a little bit early, and that means Fisher, they are able to, or Northwood, they've still got a lot of cooldowns for the second engage here, and there's Chronic scooping up a two-piece with the Bastion before they inevitably fall to Iron's hand. Painkiller able to back away to safety, and the meanwhile, we are 2 minutes and 5 seconds into this map, and Northwood is halfway done.
Yeah, it did cause Hydra on that overclock. Kitsune Rush going to come out as everyone's just going to look to back out here for Northwood. Again, very smart, realizing the situations they're in. They have players coming back anyway, so they can look to re-engage and not give Fisher that much value out of that Kitsune Rush.
And they got such a big lead so early. Northwood can afford to disengage from these ultimates as many times as they want, as long as they can at least walk up to sort of contest the line of scrimmage. It's going to be the beat drop, and Painkiller is very close to the shatter, but I don't even think they need to invest the extra ultimate. Lepid, Chronic are on a killing spree. 4 Falcons dead in a flash. Iron, the only one left. Few shots here, few shots there, and this baby D.Va inevitably going to get taken down. Yep, I was no way the remake was coming through, and Northwood is already at 105 meters, 3 minutes in.
And they still have so much of this. Chronic just keeps getting more and more bigs. This Bastion cannot be stopped.
This is absolute filth from the Timberwolves. The Bastion Reinhardt duo. Chronic has 70% of the kills so far on this map. A nice little shatter onto the squishy. Cleanse will go through. Gonna get bought back into the spawn. Northwood playing with their food at this point. Only 1.5 meters left till arguably the fastest push game I have ever seen with my own 2 eyes. Painkiller, Rocket, and Lep knocking down the last few Falcons, and Northwood's gonna win it 4-0. They are the Division 1 fall champions of NECC, making it look easy.
Yeah, man, Northwood didn't even feel like they were sweating. Maybe they perspired a little bit on Ilios, but once they got through that map, man, they have not looked back. Absolute domination from map 2 to map 4, making you just think, man. Well, there's always been this thought in a lot of the committee's heads where it's kind of been like, Redbirds, Winthrop, and Northwood, and then there's kind of a tier break. And I think this definitely showed us that right now.
Yeah, listen, there's good, there's really good, and then there's excellent, and there's that like demonic boogeyman tier that certain programs and certain teams just have this ethos around them. Northwood, even speaking outside of Overwatch 2, they have won everything in every other game. They've had the most international success in so many other teams, sending players to pro leagues. This is just another Friday for them. They knew they were going to have a great chance to win coming in. They won 3-0 a couple weeks ago. This is par for the course for them. And even though Fisher definitely showed flashes, and listen, it takes a Hall of Fame performance to knock off Northwood, Fisher just wasn't really able to put enough of it together map by map to at least take one of the maps and extend the series. And by map 4, it just felt like the train ran out of gas.
It was just very well played, very well flexibility from the side of Northwood to be able to play so many different styles, so many different comps. They showed why they're the number three and why, we feel like there's a separation from the top three and everyone else. Well, folks, we're not done yet. We still have one more game later on today, which is going to be Saginaw Valley State University going up against Washtenaw Community College. It's Division 6, I believe. So we will be back with that, and the game might start early, but if it's at your regular scheduled time, it will be in an hour and 15. So we're going to be in quite a break, folks, but don't just keep your eye on the stream, and we'll be back shortly.
to you. I get to
I've only stumbled over diamonds, and I no longer fear the worst.
frozen over like I am. Well, I know you know that like it's colder, colder when I'm older, older than I am. And I know you know that I have lost composure, but I'll hold you closer while I can. I never told you that I'm slightly broken, that I might lose focus when I am. I know you know that life gets colder, colder when you're frozen over like I am.
I don't know why I let you, but you have to light a spark in me. Lost control, falling over, getting pulled in by your gravity. Thought that I had figured it out, never felt it rationally.
Nothing cuts quite like a memory, especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. I know you don't wanna be used, but you use me to build up. You build up to break me down. How does it feel? How does it feel to not me around? I won't make a sound. I won't make a sound until I hit the ground. I won't make a sound. So don't shoot me down. Alright, we're not broken. We're just getting off the ground. Sometimes I lack the bravery, 'cause I know I fear the end. One day we'll see a victory. Carry on until the sun will shine to break me down. How does it feel? How does it feel tonight? think about you, but what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face, I know. No more racing, we got it. We could reach it, yeah, we got it. Oh, I'm feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
One, two, three, four.
Oh yeah. Oh man, would you look at me? You're just another one hit wonder, that's what everyone sees. Ain't it funny how you wanna be the best, but you can't even get up and get dressed? Wasted, face it, you're never gonna make it, make it. Rockstar, you won't get far. And I know you're confused. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be. Wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Oh man, what a lie, what a time to be alive. How have I survived? Life's a battlefield, 1974. I think I'm going insane. I'm feeling crazy. Can't get it out of my head. Oh no, if the devil inside takes hold, then I just might wind up dead. Wasted, face it, you're never gonna be the one. Rockstar, you won't get far, but at least you had fun. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, a king or a queen, as long as you got a dream. Oh no, it's a lie, they just wanna take your life, try to tell you it's a battlefield. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Oh man, what a lie, what a time to be alive. How have I survived? Life's a battlefield, 1974.
Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I stand back and I watch you explore in perfect visions like I've been here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Not that you're gone, I can't seem to. I can't seem to. Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to. I can't seem to move. Not that.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the patience. We are back. We've got more Overwatch 2 to cover. This time, we're not handing out a championship, but we are going to duke it out for third and fourth. Jobin and Ray joining everybody yet again. We've got one more match to cap off the evening. Obviously, a masterclass by Northwood earlier, taking down Fisher. But now we get to go duke it out for third and fourth, and we get to go have some fun between two schools that might be a little more unknown to some people.
Yeah, Division 4 NECC Overwatch. This is the Central Division, as we will have Saginaw Valley State University going up against Washington Community College Wolfpack Esports Green, as these two teams have faced each other about a month ago, and Saginaw Valley State University was able to win that matchup 3-0. So the big question for the Wolfpack is, since then, what changes have they made? Obviously, we've had some buffs, some nerfs, stuff gone around in the meta. So let's see how it goes this time around.
Yeah, as you said, that match was early November, and we got that kind of slew of changes like mid to late-ish November, and then it's been a bit quiet since then. Obviously, especially holiday break, a lot of devs are going to be gone, and they made enough changes to suffice everybody for the year. But even just looking at the bracket as well, looking at the Saginaw team, they were a team that they actually ended up losing to the winners of the tournament. They lost 3-1 in them in a semifinal matchup. And looking at some of the game scores, well, they played them very, very close. So even though this is a team that, they're playing for third and fourth now, they were that close to at least having a chance at knocking off the eventual winner. So that's got to inspire a lot of confidence from that game being just a couple weeks ago.
Could not agree with you more, as we do have that first map that was selected for this series. And once again, we will be starting on Ilios. So expect, even though this is Division 4 where, anything goes, I still think Ilios carries itself an ethos of, generally speaking, you run dive on this map.
Yeah, it's one of those maps too where it's been around so long, and even though it might be a different division and, we're not necessarily going to see the OWCS meta or anything like that, it's Ilios. There's always going to be a certain amount of power picks on the map, or just picks that people like to play. Things like the Lucio, obviously talked about the Zarya earlier in the day, even though it ended up being banned. So definitely have some options on this map. Definitely some Diva. Maybe even we saw the Sombra earlier from Chronix. So there's definitely some options. And obviously with teams that are, there's not necessarily any pressure on this game. Not that you ever want to lose, necessarily a bronze medal match, but you're not playing for the championship. Your season's not necessarily riding on one team fight, one win. So I think these teams can come in today and just play a lot more loose and free if they feel like it.
I agree. Obviously, a podium finish is always going to be great, but it's again, it's just not one of those where it's like we can win it all or get silver, which that has a lot more pressure behind it. As we do see those bans coming in, Wolfpack looking to ban that Lucio, while SVSU is banning that Freya. So no boops off this map today for either team, and no Freyas that'll be raining in the skies. It'll be some other hit scan most likely if we see that.
Yep, selfishly sad we're not going to see the Lucio. Obviously, always love to get that in there, especially on a map like Ilios. Feels like it is the home playground, but should be a fun game nonetheless. And of course, before we get underway with the game, got to make sure everybody at home checking that eyesight, making sure you guys are going to be covered regardless of the situation. And we present to you with buybluelight.com, the official eye care partner of the NECC. You can check out byebluelight.com. Stay locked in, stay focused, as Wolfpack and SVSU Esports are going to lock in for third place.
As we see both teams playing a variation of said, more dive-oriented compositions, I suppose. As we see one team going in Wolfpack going with the Diva, while SVSU going with more traditional Winston. We have seen that, especially recently, the Diva has been winning out a little bit better against the Winston. But Jake, I'm just gonna call him Jake. Jake is on the Reaper, so that's for VD. You got to be a lot more careful with your dives on Winston.
Yeah, certainly something to be worried about. SVSU, we see the Echo trying to get active nice and early. Always fun to see the Echo on Ilios as well. Obviously fantastic to play off the high ground and around the buildings. And it is going to be the flashbang grenade taking down Appa in the early going. So the DPS is certainly getting active for both squads early on. We see Jake the Dog finding that kill in tow immediately, taking the Cassidy down. A big cleanse onto Smelvin to try to keep them alive. And a lot of fist fighting, a lot of back and forth. And it looks like we may finally see a capture here.
Yes, we also see Reggie on this Echo, who gets the kill onto Pangy, who's playing that on that Kira kill. The Echo has so much burst damage available, but if you get caught out like that, the Echo can really fall flat-footed, as Wolfpack eventually going to get the cap on the point.
Yeah, nice early capture always feels good, especially early on in the series. Get some momentum on your side. At least get your feet wet a bit, start to hit some nice shots, and obviously the Reaper have to make sure they are very well aware of where the threat is at all times. The last thing you need to see is that Death Blossom ticking online, the Reaper sneaking into one of these little hallways or out one of these doorways and absolutely raining on your parade, just like Capybara getting taken down there.
Love me some Capybaras, very underrated animal, very adorable. As now we see Bo Jiden, who used the high noon, got taken down by Smelvin on that Diva, but Reggie's been able to fight back on and gets Panky.
Yeah, and what a good replicate. Instantly flip to the Reaper, instantly find a kill, and still a little bit of HP to play around with. Eventually, we'll have to leave it, and it looks like the point actually not going to flip back over, despite the fact that VD able to take down Smelvin. And now it's a Winston versus Reaper. The Wraith form has been officially expended, which means Jake has no more options. And SVSU, great job to hop on the point there, nice and early. Did use a few ultimates to do it, but you do get the capture.
I was going to say, it costs you your duplicate and your pulse bomb, so you're going to have to get a lot out of a nanoed Winston, possibly a tidal wave blast, because the Wolfpack's going to be coming back, and they can throw in both their DPS ultimates. They have a remech, and they're likely going to have their support ultimates as well.
Great early shots out of Appa, taking Reggie down for the foreseeable future. We do see Vidi actually will invest the Primal Rage on the backside of the fight, so SVSU maybe just trying to double and triple check that they can at least get a little bit more progress. That's a big sleep onto the Diva, and that's going to force the bomb out as well, so we are going to have to see a little bit of a reset from Smelvin here, and that means Wolfpack, they're just going to go try to flood the point. Now that's a nanoed Winston. The Deadeye for both Cassidy's gets shut down this game. No value from the DPS ultis. The orbital ray of Capybara trying to keep everybody else alive, but SVSU, they are still hanging around there despite the fact the point flips and Jake kills half the team.
make that 60% of the team. Jake the dog still trying to make something happen on this point. All there's out is an Echo and a Reaper, but they did cap in the meantime, so they just been stealing percentage away as Jake able to heal himself up quite a bit, but the Echo and the Winston eventually going to finish him off. This back to the spawn room. SVU is able to take back control as we do see some changes coming in from Wolfpack. Smelvin now over to that Mauga, which, so that's going to be the thing with VD. As long as you keep your distance from the Mauga, I mean, Mauga can poke, but it's not as potent as, you know, getting those big ground pound dive slams in. So that's what I'd be looking to try and do if I'm the side of SVSU.
Yeah, Wolfpack might just figure, listen, we're going to send Reaper and Mauga to the front line. We're going to start firing with that left click, and we're going to hope that things go well. We are going to see Reggie actually going to replicate into said Mauga, so this could potentially be a little bit annoying to try to deal with for the side of Wolfpack, or, yeah, for the side of Wolfpack, actually. And then they are going to see the cage get thrown down, and Reggie's just shredding everybody with the rest of SVSU, and they are able to hold that point lockstep. Wolfpack coming back with the Kitsune Rush, more than likely a Pulse Bomb sooner than later, but that is it.
And that was SVSU also playing their positions quite well on that high ground. And then that duplicate just coming out at the right time as Pengi's looking for an angle to be able to throw down this Kitsune Rush. Wolfpack narrowly creeping up on a Pulse Bomb as well as SVSU. They're trying to play for Primal, trying to play for Nano.
Nano, or Primal rather, is going to be online. Pengi, they're going to send the Kitsune Rush 99 to 80. It is essentially now or never for the side of Wolfpack. Clen's going to go through, and then the Juno just gets absolutely deleted by the Winston. The Primal proving super fruitful on this last little effort. Wolfpack, they were able to grab the point back over, and Jake should be able to find the kill onto the Wu Yang. So potentially Wolfpack not going away quite yet, but the combo of Reggie and VD looks like it may just be enough there to flip the point, and I'm guessing that's going to be round one of the books.
Yeah, it does not look like anyone else has the touch. Nice opening map from both teams, but SVSU able to take point number one, 100 to 97. And SVSU really, in that matchup, stuck to their guns, kept that Winston, kept that Echo, felt that if they play it to its potential, that it was going to you know, be very fruitful for them. And that's kind of how the Echo is being played. Like, to me, Echo's very feast or famine. If all your team is syncing up with that damage, with those sticky grenades, with those focusing beams, it's potent. But if you're not able to sync up that well, your Echo's not going to be doing a whole lot. And they ended up finding their value in the end as we see Smelvin and Wolfpack in general completely swapping up the comp now. They're gonna, with the much more wide open map, they're gonna go with the hazard comp, while SVSU is gonna go more ground pound with Zarya, Sim, Reaper. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
That is a whole lot of damage indeed, and obviously the Hazard did receive a round of nerfs, I think about a month ago at this point, so it has fallen slightly out of favor for a lot of players. Definitely can still be picked in certain situations, but that can also be a pick similar to the Echo, where it can feel like you're carrying the game, or now with the nerfs, sometimes it feels like you're just getting one shot.
You're going to see, again, a lot of cooldowns being forced from the side of SVSU, but with Panky down, it feels like it's only a matter of time once SVU pushes the issue, and they do, they're going to clean house.
Yeah, Smelvin not able to stay alive there. Capybara's catching a fist over from VD. The Cassidy's got absolutely nowhere to go, and VD is literally just swanging and banging on the entire Wolfpack squad. That's going to be a team kill for the side of SVSU, and they're able to flip well back into their favor, only about 20-6 as the chips fall here, so plenty of time to try to dig in and set up this defense.
Smelvin going over to the Ram now to try and have a little bit more sustain on that front line. VD's still going to have a pretty favorable matchup into the Ram. Didn't get a lot of charge in that fight, though, so they have a window of opportunity, Wolfpack, to push in without having to deal with the supercharged up Zarya.
Yeah, they are able to get Reggie very low on HP. Luckily, the Wraith form able to escape to safety as SVSU's lead builds to about 10 or 15. And now we just see Reggie trying to get going on the backline. And this is that exact time and place where if that Death Blossom is online, that can very well just cut the lights out of a team. And all that effort that Deadeye, this time gonna find some value. Appa finally able to lock in a kill with the Cassidy ultimate. SVSU, that is 2 players down, but you've got Bo Giant and the rest of the crew seeing if they can at least hang around a little bit longer, and the double support ultimates are actually enough for SVSU, and Ramatra's going for a little bit of a trip, same with the Juno, And that means Wolfpack resetting and Jake the Dog stopping to smell at the flowers.
I'm a little surprised. I didn't think that fight was that super lost where they needed to give up that quickly. But I'm not in that server, obviously. Still got plenty of ults of either side of SVSU. Wolfpack kind of swapped up their comp a little bit, still building to some of these, but both these support ultimates coming online very quickly. So if I'm SVSU, I'm looking to go pretty quickly before they do come online.
Yeah, and just make sure you keep tabs on Reggie. They are saving that Death Blossom for the prime time moment to just absolutely shut it down in one fell swoop. And speaking of damage and wombo combos, the Annihilation finds one back onto Reggie, but SVSU lighten him up in the feed, 5 for 1. In what felt like a 3 or 4 second stretch, everybody absolutely turned to dust. And that is map 1 in the books. Or is it? There it is.
That definitely is map number 1 in the books. SVSU taking that map pretty handily. First map was close, but that second map, not as much. Kind of a domination on that second sub map for SVSU. We talked about it. These teams did face each other about a month ago. SVSU got the better end 3-0. And I believe in this playoff bracket, Wolfpack was the higher seed. So they had that map choice. So I mean, they beat Wolfpack on, at their own game. Basically, they took them to the most advantageous map that they wanted to go to.
Yeah, that is a great way to start the series for SVSU. And even as I said earlier, they took the winning team of this entire conference, the entire division. They brought them basically down to the wire. It was one of those, yes, it was a 3-1, but looking at some of the map scores, that very well could have been a 5-game series. And when it goes 5, it's essentially a toss-up in the last game if you make it that far. So this is a team that can clearly hang with the best. And even as you said, they took care of them a month ago, and there wasn't such a big patch where it fundamentally changed how the game is played. A few heroes got some tweaks here and there like they do, but this is the same game they were playing a month ago, basically, and so far, same result.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, few heroes got a little bit better, like Ram is a little bit better than they were a month ago and stuff like that. But overall, it's still a pretty open meta, all things considered, especially like, it's not like OWCS where, Sim is just dominating. This is not where we are right now. We're in Division 4 Collegiate. I feel like compositionally wise, everything is pretty much open. So let's see where the cards fly as map will stay on the side of the Wolfpack Esports, so they will get to pick their next map after a ban, and then we'll see what the hero bans are as well. But given that this is a first 2-3, to me, this is almost a must-win for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and that's a good note as well. Almost forgot to say that at the start of the start of this series, at least, is we're not in the best of 7 that we were in Division 1. This is the first of 3, aka best of 5. So you're already 33% of the way there if you're SVSU. So as you said, when you're down 2-0 in a first of 4, you're like, okay, maybe we got the reads. The bans didn't necessarily go our way. 2-0 in a series like this, you go, damn, we might just be finishing 4th place after all of our hard work this semester. It just can be too much to figure out in such a short time period. Hopefully they can find a map and a mode they like. Will it be Kings Row? Possibly, more than likely, but we'll see exactly. Do they want to just throw a curveball too, since it's one of those series where there's not a lot of pressure? Do they say, you know what, throw it out the window, screw the playbook, let's do something crazy that we maybe worked on once this semester?
Only time will tell, as we will be getting you guys that map choice as soon as we have it for you guys. As you saw on Ilios, that was map number 1 earlier on, about like almost over an hour ago. We had the Division 1 grand finals. We had Northwood number 3 in the collegiate rankings going up against Fisher number 4 in the collegiate rankings, and Northwood dominated 4-0. They were playing with their food on that 4th map. They were having their fun. So now we've shifted down here to Division 4, and so far we'll see, but SVSU has definitely taken that first decisive lead in the series.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't turn into a repeat of the Fisher Northwood where the most competitive we got was the first round of Control, and then it was just a slow decline down the mountain the rest of the way, it felt like. So I hope Wolfpack at least has something geared up here. They've got something cooked up. It is going to be Surabasa for the second map, so listen, more open, more space to flow around. Maybe you got some sort of team fight creativity, a certain comp that you like on this map. I certainly don't hate it. you can at least play a little more free, because hybrid, sometimes things don't go well. It just feels like we can't get to the cart. We can't get to the cart. At least in this one, if you lose the first point, you can kind of regroup and retool yourself around the map.
I love me some Saravasa. So like I've loved the new Flashpoint maps. I like Saravasa. I like Atlas, but Saravasa has like the most character to me. Like it just like
Mhm.
obviously it's India, but it just the amount of like color and pop and style they put to really fit that India vibe. It has always been great. And again, ever since they reworked it and added, better flank routes for different spots on the map, opened a couple of different spots up, it's been I mean, I think it's favored a lot of teams. I think that's why we tend to see a lot of teams picking this map.
Yeah, listen, there's sometimes it's as simple as there is a reason why this is arguably the most popular map for the mode. I especially love the changes that you talked about as well. I think the map, not that it necessarily got super stale, but I think changes were definitely needed just for a facelift more than anything. Just give the players a little more room to stretch their legs. Don't make the map quite as one-dimensional, because Flashpoint in and of itself, it's not supposed to be a super one-dimensional mode. That's why it's this big open space where you can literally go wherever you want to set up these flank angles. It rewards creativity. And speaking of, the bans are now through. Wolfpack will be ditching the Zarya, and Tracer taken off the board for SVSU. So target out one of those nasty hit scans. Speaking of flank routes and pulse bombs, that is a pick that we see time and time again on Saravasa.
Yeah, my guess is Wolfpack's going to want to continue to play that Ramatra, and they did not like the amount of pressure and damage VD was able to apply with that Zarya. So we will see. As I'm saying that, it looks like I'm at least proven wrong for the time being. We see Wolfpack currently highlighting the Mauga composition, which has continued to grow itself in favor, especially since Mauga's got a better matchup into like Orisa, for example, can crit them better. It's got a better matchup into Hazard, because Hazard can get crit while blocking now. SVSU, however, they're highlighting a Junker Queen composition, which I'm all for. It's all about just total speed. They're going to go with a Genji Sombra. So it's all about that Genji, all about that Sombra, all about that Junker Queen syncing up together on targets. And they got to move fast, because the Malga composition is more sustained in the long run.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. That SVSU comp is speed, momentum, and destruction if they're able to find that first pick. That is a comp that is going to snowball and deathball the second they feel like they've got the advantage in the fight. But again, like you said too, the Mauga can pump that damage, and he can catch up to the Queen if she tries to escape. That is a ton of damage coming out from the Mauga. Unfortunately, the rest of the team not faring nearly as well. So now Smelvin has got a lot of work to do to get out of this corner, and with Mega taking down Pengi, that is no healing left besides that self-sustain, although the point not able to be captured yet. Mauga will have to go for a little jog there and get back to the team though, which means SVSU can open up the cap.
I was going to say, the issue is, yeah, you got the Junker Queen, but in the meantime, the rest of SVSU was able to take out 3 of your players. This Mauga composition thrives a lot of the time on Appa and Smelvin and Capybaras being able to be together, helping each other out and finding coordinated kills.
Yeah, we see the Sombra taking out yet again. EMP's obviously one of the nastier ultimates you can have in the game. Basically a big button that says you do not get to play the game for the foreseeable future. And now we're going to see the Mauga getting lit up from the back as well. And this is the flank routes we were talking about, and just being a rat in general, whether it's the Tracer, the Sombra, there is a litany of options that work more than well enough on Saravasa. But when you're getting diffed by a Kiriko, that is a good way to lose a fight early. SVSU still a nice lead, even if Wolfpack can collapse here.
I was going to say, getting those exiting picks absolutely massive for the side of SVSU, and those are they're just going to continue to touch stall as long as they can while they're waiting for players to get back. But that's a lot of damage throw down onto Jake the dog, onto that Sombra. EMP!
You can see it coming a mile away. You can see the eyes light up in the Sombra. Nobody had a clue that the flank was coming, and all of a sudden it is death's door for the entire Wolfpack. The only one to live. Just kidding. Jake gets translocated and bopped on by Bojiden, and that is going to be SVSU continuing the rampage that we saw at the end of Ilios.
And they have Rampage coming online for this next fight from VD, but they're going to have a lot. They were able to win that with just a singular ultimate. I mean, the good thing for Wolfpack is they didn't really use anything either, so they're going to have everything they need to combat. So, again, we talk about it. Especially in Flashpoint, You got to move aggressively. You got to move fast. Who's going to pull the trigger on these ultimates and make a move first?
Yeah, if you kind of get caught in this paralysis by analysis where your team is just kind of in no man's land, you don't really have a set course of action, you don't really know what you want to do and who you want to target, you can lose a lot of dead time and you can really get yourself stuck in a place you do not want to be. Speaking of getting stuck, the cage has been brought out, the Dragon Blade has been equipped, no reset to come through, now the Rampage, the Beat, and the Kitsune. Everything in the game being invested and everybody dying belongs to the Wolfpack.
The patience coming in from SVSU to use that blade to help themselves through the cage, and then once it was broken, to be able to use that Rampage and the Beat to keep the team alive. Expensive fight, but they're able to hold the point. And the good thing is, in the meantime of all that, Bo Jiden was able to build up to an EMP. So Appa and Jake, the dog, have to find a lot with these DPS ultimates. As we do see Capybara's going over to Moira now.
Yeah, actually a good call. I was going to say, I think there are a few more swaps coming through, and Tectonic Shock from Appa. You've got to try to find some value. These ultimates, they are a dime a dozen, it feels like, for Wolfpack. They haven't been able to find that just massive setup that you would like them to see. But the Kiriko getting taken down is going to feel pretty darn good. And now Reggie is also going to get shredded in the team fight. So Wolfpack battling back hard on this point C. They do invest the Overclock and the Tectonic Shock, but they do get the fight win. And SVSU coming back with that EMP ready to go.
Yeah, that overclock came in late. I think you would have wished you would have held on to that if you're the side of Jake the dog. So SVSU can basically come back in with EMP, and they know that you have nothing to deal with this. So it should hopefully be a pretty quick point flip.
The EMP, I didn't even expect Bo to come through that angle. I assumed there was going to be that same setup materialized God flank that we saw earlier, but instead it was just a quick snap of a finger, a pull of a trigger, and Wolfpack Esports, those health bars are blinking, and they were able to survive for a moment, but now it's a 3v2. The Moira and the Mauga seeing if they can hold on against an absolute front from SVSU, but so far, things looking to be going well enough to stall out.
Yeah, you did use your healing expanding if you're Smelvin, so you're definitely going to be vulnerable for the time being. Let's see what they make happen as we see a backline hunt for Bo Jiden.
Yeah, these flanks have been so pivotal for SVSU so far in the Flashpoint, and now we're going to see a Reaper possibly out of position, but Reggie also going to get traded out, and Wolfpack Esports, they are dealing out some damage so far in the fight, and now the cage is going to get dropped on BD's head. The beat drop is 3% away for SVSU. They are about to get that thing online, and now it's a Rampage and a Kitsune and Wolfpack Esports just off the back of a Coalescence. I don't know if it'll be enough to win this extended fight.
It will not, especially with Smelvin going down on the Mauga. Point flip going to go in favor of SVSU. The issue is it did use both of their support ultimates. We do see Reggie, who swapped over to the Cassidy as well. Kitsune rush for Pangi going up against VD and this Rampage. We're coming up, we're basically final fight for both of these teams to see who's going to get the second point.
Yeah, for SVSU, this is a mad dash to J-Rod's ultimate if the fight does end up extending that long. That Kitsune rush as an engaged tool for Pengi absolutely on the table unless they get taken down before they can use it. That Kiriko was on death's door. Matter of fact, they're actually not alive, and the one ultimate that you had in the back pocket is no longer available, and now the Rampage connects on the two key members. Everybody from Wolfpack on 1 HP just bleeding out at the site. Smelvin, Pengi, and Capybara still trying to salvage something, but Bo Jiden's got an EMP in the back pocket. The Deadeye's gonna whiff, and it looks like SVSU's going up 2-0 at the Flashpoint.
Just when you thought Wolfpack found themselves in a favorable position, the big issue in that was Pangi going down first, Jobin, because they had that Kitsune rush, and they were not able to capitalize and use it.
It was their only win condition for the fight. There was no other feasible, logical way where the fight was going to be even 10% easier. That was their key to freedom. Unfortunately, door locked, key thrown away. They do have another chance here as the point begins to open, but SVSU, they were the first ones on there, and they only need one more capture, and it is going to be game over. And now it's going to be Pengi's Kitsune. The second the point unlocks, now the back of a Deadeye from Reggie. Not able to find anything, or at least hold to that final shot, and now Smelvin getting hit with a flashbang. J-Rod's off the map, and it is a mess on the site.
I was curious, with J-Rod going down, you can't use that EMP But
Whoa.
I felt like and the Death Blossom. I actually think that's okay if you're SVSU to get that ultimate out of them. So now all you're really dealing with now is a Coalescence. Maybe you get a Cage at some point, but the EMP can just totally disrupt that. And they use the Coalescence and Capybaras goes down. What a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know if it was to try to keep themselves alive because they only had one other teammate in LOS and they weren't even really trying to go for that fight. I don't think Smelvin wanted any part of that weird sort of janky fight. They were more than willing to just walk back to the point and basically soak their losses, but no Coalescence, and now you've got no tank and no DPS. So you do at least get a 75% lead, but SVSU, they are about to flood this site.
The split coming in from the side of Wolfpack, it ended up, I'd say it was good. Oh, that's tough. Okay, you're going to flip it if you're SVSU. I was going to say, they were playing very split because they ended up finding Bo Jiden extremely early in that fight, but because Smelvin was just isolated, you're able to get the tank, and the tank for a Sombra trade, you will take that every single day. Cage available, but Bo Jiden still has his EMP.
Yeah, you just feel like that EMP is the one cooldown that essentially may decide the game. It's going to connect onto three. The Kiriko, the Reaper, the Mauga, all getting locked up for a few seconds there. And that means nobody's able to help the Moira. And now it is just the pain train out of the front door at Wolfpack running for their lives. But they've got no chance of escape with SVSU in hot pursuit. And the EMP and the beat alone means that the Deadeye and the Rampage, and more than likely the Kitsune, are ready and equipped for one last go.
This is so tough because this is the final opportunity for Wolfpack to try and make this map feasible, but they have no ultimates, not much of a win because they have to hope to find like a pick early because, as you mentioned, they're facing a High Noon, a Rampage, and possibly a Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, no Cage, no Death Blossom, so you've just lost so much Wombo combo potential, even out of those two players alone. And now it's going to be the Deadeye from Reggie, and Wolfpack, they simply just have to respect it. Otherwise, you're going to get taken down, and that just might be the map. And now the Rampage is going to get invested, and Smelvin's going to get anti.
But when it was clutch time, SVSU had better ult rotation and control of their ult economy, and they just had the big plays coming in. It felt like anytime Wolfpack, had a Cage, there was an EMP. They just had an answer for everything Wolfpack was trying to throw at them.
Yeah, and then honestly, you could pick the 2 to 3 moments, I think, that really just changed the map. I mean, the 5-player EMP to get things going, absolutely disgusting. It just wipes the entire team and gives you the first capture for free, basically. The Kiriko dying at 99% when it was like 90 to 90 on the site just feels so bad. You had the win condition, couldn't hang on for that extra percent. And then obviously at the end, the Coalescence, certainly a little bit iffy the fight before. We ended up going to the last point, never got it back online. And it's these 2 to 3 small little things that Flashpoint was competitive for a lot of it, but it was still a 3-0.
Yeah, so we have ourselves a 2-0 lead for SVSU. One more point, and they will be your bronze winners for the Central Division of Division 4. We are going to take a quick break and give these teams some time to figure out their adjustments, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
They say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to.
And welcome back, everybody, for potentially our last map, not just of Overwatch 2, of the entire NECC semester. SVSU Esports, they are up 2-0 over Wolfpack Esports right now, looking ever so dominant in the process. But now we get to see what map, what bands Wolfpack has cooked up to see if they can extend this and still pursue that sweet bronze medal, finish off on the podium, finish the semester strong.
One thing to keep in mind is we do see Rialto is going to be our third map, is we do have some role swapping coming around for SVSU. Reggie is going to go to tank, while VD will go to support, and Mega is going to DPS. Not sure if that is a circuit specific thing. It wouldn't be surprising. I mean, circuit thing. Oh, Rialto. I'm sorry. This is a Rialto specific thing. Given it's a much more hit scan oriented map, so maybe their players are more on the hit scan side, as Wolfpack will be banning that Wu Yang that's been finding pretty good amounts of value for the side of SVSU, as Diva will be the ban onto Wolfpack.
And I think at this point, even looking at the role swaps potentially, I think it's just one of those, even if it's, it could be a compositional thing, it could be we're up 2-0, in our eyes, it's going to be our last map of the year. Let's go have a damn good time on the server.
We will see how that works out for them, because it could bite them and they'll play a fourth map. So let's see how that goes. As we see on the defense, SVSU going to play a SIG composition, which is not surprising. It's common, especially in your comp games, not necessarily what we tend to see at the highest levels, but again, we're in Division 4, so I'm not shocked to be seeing SIG comps. Junkrat Torbjorn is going to be a fun combo. Lots of spam damage you're going to have to deal with if you're the side of Wolfpack. The Wolfpack composition is a little bit more perplexing. Mauga with Hanzo Widow. Not really anyone who can help go up and be with your Mauga, because Mauga's, meant to go on full damage and use your healing to help keep your team up in the brawl, while these hit scans are going to be more taking their distance, but they will be swapping comps immediately.
Yeah, here's the real Wolfpack team comp. They tried the double snipers with the Mauga and the Brig, and now we have switched basically all 5 roles. So that was the, the early feeler that a lot of teams are going to try to throw, but obviously the Sigma's going to play fantastic into the double sniper, so that wouldn't have worked out very well, I don't think, to begin with. And now they can at least begin to push onto the cart. Reggie going to take a lot of damage here from that Ramatcha early on. Able to back away to safety, get some healing up from the supports, and we're going to see Appa. We did see the Freya banned out in map 1. I don't remember who banned it, but now it gets to stretch its legs here on Rialto. Okay.
Wow, what a great opening pick from Bo Jiden, who's just been absolutely ridiculous this season, from the Sombra now to the Junkrat. However, Jake the dog gets BD. You do get him in response, but losing support early on when the respawns are far back is great for Wolfpack.
Yeah, Smelvin and Pengi, unfortunately, a little low on HP there for a moment, so they couldn't put too much pressure. The Junkrat trap's going to trap Smelvin in his place. Almost gets 100 to 0. Luckily, though, more than enough sustain in the kit and with the teammates to stay alive. And now you've got Appa going rogue on a little solo mission here and able to get a ton of chip damage and work with Jake the dog to see if they can find a few more picks. And there's that Echo Burst damage that we talk about. If she gets enough uptime, it is absolute night-night. And great job by Wolfpack putting that foot forward.
SVSU gonna have to make sure they back out and not afford any more staggers, because they're gonna get one more chance to contest this. They're gonna have quite a few ultimates, and half the time bank's already off for the side of Wolfpack, so if you can waste even more time, it's just golden.
Yeah, the contest comes through, and now we're going to see the Graviton Flux come into play. It looked like it landed onto a few, but the Dragons in the hands from Smelvin doing enough work to keep Wolfpack alive in the fight, but we're going to see 2 dead members in the feed, and now there's a Riptire trying to gun for Smelvin's head. Unfortunately, not able to find it, and if you've got keen eyes, folks, that says 0.01 meters to the checkpoint.
What is that? Why are we peeking a window, Smelvin? You guys could have re-engaged that. Wait for the window to go down. I'm so gobsmacked by that.
It's literally the closest it can be, too. They got right, not even the 1 yard
They're
line.
like, hello, right through the window. Please shoot me.
Yeah. The tip of the football is literally a pixel from the goal line. But ultimately, that means you do not get a time bonus, and you are forced into a horrible reset that you did not want to be a part of.
They're going to have a lot of ultimates to be able to use, though, so they're in quite a good spot to take this recontest.
Yeah, Solar Flare going to be online, and it's going to be called in. The Annihilation from Smelvin's going to be sent in as well, but it's going to be Panky and Jake, the ones getting ripped to shreds first. Now it's going to be on Appa and the rest of the crew to see if they can swing this fight in their favor, and they're able to finally neutralize the Queen. J-Rod and Vini were both hanging on by a thread there, and it looks like Smelvin and the rest of the gang, they should have finally done enough to get past that pesky 0.01 meters.
Yeah, Annihilation, Orbital Ray, Duplicate, that's definitely going to do it for you. We do see SVSU, who's been swapping their comp around a lot. Reggie was on the Junker Queen at that end of the second point there. Now they're going over to the Hazard, which, yeah, the Hazard's going to be good, especially trying to get on top of, like, Jake the Dog and possibly some of these supports, but it's going to be tough sledding if you're going to have to avoid Smelvin on this Ramatra at all costs.
Yeah, high risk, high reward. The mobility is certainly going to be good for a lot of areas on Rialto, but unfortunately when Ramatra gets you where he wants you, it can be an absolute horrible fist fight to try to get yourself a part of. And now we're going to see the Dragons going out from Drake. That's a lot of chip damage onto one of these members. That Reggie barely able to escape with their life, but that still means that Wolfpack, you can continue to walk forward, continue to walk all of SVSU back, and you can find a few more kills on the exit. All right,
that was bold.
Rip tire down. Yeah, rip tire down.
Yeah, that was bold. I feel like you knew Hanzo was there. It only takes one arrow. I'm very surprised they were, willing to do that. But they do get Capybaras, so that's great. But going back and forth at this point.
Yeah, no supports online for the fight for Wolfpack, which means no Kitsune. You don't have the Juno there to help you out as well. And I think they should be able to zone off Smelvin at least a little bit here. The Annihilation, of course, online if they so choose. The Molten Core will be invested early out of Mega, and they're going to see if they can at least zone some more players off. I was going to say good progress still being made, but finally enough kills do come through where SVSU can finally breathe a sigh of relief for a moment.
Yeah, that Molten Core basically stowed anyone from being able to aggressively push and go after the players, and then they're able to win in the spam war, which they will do with a Junkrat and Torbjorn. Wolfpack, however, once again, going to be able to re-engage with basically 5 ultimates in their back pocket. Again, one thing they need to get a handle on is the ult economy, so they need to try and win this with, maybe 2, maybe 3 if you have 2 ults, but no more than that.
The Annihilation, certainly a good one to get the job done. The Solar Flare going to get activated as well, but Vini's getting absolutely comboed by Appa, and that means Wolfpack, this is their fight through and through, no question about it. Everybody from SVSU just getting annihilated in the aftermath. J-Rod, Reggie, and Vini trying to escape as fast as they can, but the damage has been done, and the checkpoint is earned.
And they're able to do that with only 2 ult investment. That is the kind of fights we need to continue to see from Wolfpack. They have 2 minutes left on the clock to finish this second point. They have both their support ultimates and a Dragons to force positioning. The only thing you got to be a little bit worried about is the downpour coming in from Reggie, especially if you get everyone stuck in an area, then you pop a window and you can just kill everyone.
Yeah, the Dragons is a great way to engage, but Reggie, seeing where they came from, just snaps onto Jake the Dog and able to shut him down 100-0, and then you win the 1v1 against Appa. So finally the Hazard showing what the hero can do in these isolated situations. Speaking of, another one for the mantle, and there's the exact kind of play you're hoping Reggie would make eventually.
Still held on to both of these support ultimates, and that's basically what you're playing for in this next fight if you're Wolfpack. Probably looking to engage with his Kitsune Rush and using the Orbital Ray if you have to, but the Rush should be enough to buy you a team fight.
I would think so as well. We're going to see if the Riptire can finally find some value. It's going to take down Pengi. So the Kitsune Rush does get used, but the support does not stay alive to see the results of the fight. And now Smelvin and Cappy both going down the Orbital Ray. They're just going to hold on to that, keep it in the back pocket. And finally, the Riptire finds some value. The Molten Core also invested, so certainly not cheap by any means. But SVSU at this point, if they feel like they can clinch the map with it, I'm sure they're willing to use them.
Jake the Dog now going to go over to that Reaper, which, no more Hanzo, so you don't have that one-shot potential, but the Reaper is definitely going to be a lot more sustained damage over time, but not if you're getting sent back to the spawn room with the mines from the side of Bo Jiden.
Yeah, Bo has been playing excellent so far. Couldn't even get the words out, and another satchel toss onto Cappy's head. And this is the exact kind of play you want to see out of the Junkrat. Unfortunately, can be isolated like that. Smelvin's Annihilation is going to wear off Pengi and Cappy, or Cappy rather, still sitting on the Orbital Ray. The Solar Flare is going to get brought into the fold. They are all grouped up. This could be massive for VD. Able to take down Pengi. Appa's going to get taken out of the Replicator, and now it is an absolute brawl for the cart. We are officially in overtime territory, and it looks like Wolfpack, they may at least get a little more progress with those kills.
Yeah, they're down at least copy bars for the time being, and they're going to have to deal with a downpour and a window. Does it get anything? Oh, it does.
Oh, Reggie's in a bit of a rough spot here, trying to take on the entire world by themselves, and things not going according to plan, and that's just going to mean that Wolfpack, you can continue to march as long as you want, but Pengi again getting cut down, and now the Riptire, a hard right turn into Appa's face, and that means SVSU can finally get the kills they were looking for, and despite a fantastic effort, Wolfpack just getting stopped short of completion.
And now SVSU have their win condition that they need to meet to get this third place victory. They got to get through third point and basically get it on that, get it into basically the final room. That's essentially where the cart stopped for the side of the Wolfpack. They do that, they leave this match in third place. If not, we will be going to a map number 4. And I will say, considering all the role swapping they did, impressive to still be playing the Wolfpack this hard. It didn't allow them to cap all 3 points.
Yeah, considering it, especially at the end, because it looked like at the beginning they looked very good. Then it looked like they were going to get run out of the gym in the next 2 minutes, and then they just shut everything down. Even with some great combos and some great ultis out of Wolfpack, they were just able to find a few key picks here and there, keep that Orbital Ray from getting sent in a few fights earlier, stalls out the time. And great effort out of both teams. SVSU, you gave yourself a chance. The ball is in your court. Destiny awaits to see if they can finish this one off. And there's a Roadhog on my screen, and I am quite pleased about it.
We'll see if they actually bring that out. For the side of Bojiden, though, going back to the Sombra well, it did wonders for them previously on Surabasa. And Reggie is going to go out with that Wrecking Ball.
And hey, forget starting with the sniper. Start with my Zenyatta and see if you can get that nice little full charge one-shot. I don't hate that at all. And obviously the Transcendence is just phenomenal for keeping everybody alive and stalling the game out a little bit later on. So like to see the switch-ups, like to see at least the teams willing to try something different, especially with the role swaps. A little bit of DPS coming through from J-Rod there as the rest of SVSU slowly working their way up the cart, and now the ball just going to go cruising through the streets.
Yeah, the Zen Ana for the side of SVSU, it's an extremely greedy backline, and it's very diveable or, very squishy. But, if they get good anti-nades, good Discord orbs, it's very offensively potent.
We do see Reggie we did see them honestly willing to take on 2 to 3 players to a fault a little bit earlier in the last round. So even with that, what feels like billion HP and armor pool the ball does give you, still got to be careful with all that DPS coming through from Wolfpack as SVSU getting stalled out a little bit, trying to play for some high ground here. Torp turrets are taking it between the shins, and now we're going to see a nice cleanse followed up by a sleep, and Reggie is going to get a little bit of boosted armor there. The anti's going to connect, and it's going to be Bojiden falling first. Reggie is able to actually find one of the backline members and still able to live, and this is the beauty of the ball. You are just so damn tanky.
Oh, they got the sleep out. Can they get the kill on the Ana? They do.
Wow.
Capybara's going to the spawn room, and the problem is with those late staggers, do they even look to touch as the car is rounding the final corner as they know Reggie's sitting here waiting?
Uh-oh, trying to go for a little boop off the map. Almost sends him into the canal, but not quite able to land it onto the Ramatra. But that HP is already dangerously low, and that just means, I thought it was going to be a little bit good for SVSU, but we do see a few kills going through for the side of Wolfpack. Smelvin gets nanoed up, and they're going to see if they can at least use that to win the rest of the fight. Pengi and Appa, the only 2 down so far. And we are going to see the overclock also activated. Jake the Dog just wanting to ensure victory for this last set of fight here. 2 meters away from the checkpoint, and they're able to lock it in.
Again, that was SVSU to me playing with their food a little bit too much, trying to do a little bit too much with that Wrecking Ball there. They just allowed them to just pursued through, go straight to the point, allowed to touch, and they're able to sustain with that nano. So very well played. But 3 huge ultimates coming in from SVSU. EMP and Trans plus the mines. Those are all going to be tough to deal with when the cart's right here at the end if you're Wolfpack.
The only caveat is that if Wolfpack's able to stall this out a decent amount of time, wow, Bojine gets absolutely cracked fresh off of the EMP. It connected onto the entire team, but there wasn't really that much follow-up initially. Looks like the second wave looking much, much better than that initial outburst of offense. And now it's all down to Appa. Some clean movement, not gonna lie, but still taken down by the ball. And not a moment too soon. SVSU 3:20 on the clock, and they will keep on pushing.
Yeah, and with Escort, time's not really that much a factor, especially considering they didn't cap all 3 points. But even if they had, it doesn't matter as long as you finish with time. So still, 3 minutes to cap the second points. We're going to see full-on swaps because Smelvin went over to the Orisa and they realized, hey, Orisa probably not going to be so great into our Wrecking Ball, so let's go give us a little bit more sustain. So Reggie's going to go over to that Ramatra to be able to brawl it out with Smelvin.
Yeah, just be able to stand and bang with the Orisa. Obviously, that massive health pool, the Fortify, the Terra Surge, when that eventually does get online, very tough to deal with in isolation, but we are going to see Appa has been playing outstanding on this Echo. That is, I think, the key target for SVSU to start isolating, and that is an amazing way to get this original fight going in. And now they're going to see if they can ground a few of these players. That Sojourn was dangerously low, and Jake, this Ramatra, this switch is paying off so far, but going in a little bit deep, possibly able to find the kill. It's a big anti-forces out the cleanse. Wolfpack trying their best to fight back, but they're still down to DPS.
Yeah, and that's a lot of damage thrown down. They're probably going to get punished. That they do. Molten Core came out, but it's not enough. Between the duplicate from Appa to get that Ramatra Annihilation online, it was just the kiss of death. But they got some good distance on the cart, did SVSU.
Yeah, and I will say, I don't know exactly who it was used on or when, but VD had to have nanoed at some point in that fight because it was at 11% after they respawned.
How does that happen?
So that's crazy, not gonna lie. That is an insane way to get picked as Orisa.
Still, now the Dragons come out on the point. It's going to buy space and possibly... Just look at this, the Kiriko's completely isolated. Pinky goes down.
It is a disaster.
That was overclock used.
That might be the strangest 30-second sequence I have seen in quite some time. From the tank going down, seemingly out of nowhere. I'm still not even... I know what happened, but I'm still not sure what happened. And then just that fight, Kiriko separated, like you said, everybody getting run down. They're panic ulting, and it just feels like I don't want to say slowly slipping away. That was a series of unfortunate events.
And they're going to have 2.5 minutes to try and finish this off, as we're going to see a Kitsune Rush coming out.
Oh no, Terra Surge shut down too. Killed by the grenade and the Terra Surge. They're losing all their cooldowns to everything.
This is just peak play coming out from SVSU. Basically, you're going to have one more fight of this. Smelvin's now going to go over to the Ramatra almost as a desperation. Jake, the dog, going to go over to the Reaper. All you're going to have is a duplicate, but you're facing down a possible nano annihilation and a molten core.
Yep. Stand on the Molten Core, Ramatra, and you will be rewarded greatly. And just like that, they're throwing their lives away. Wolfpack, you can tell they're panicking. Bronze medal to their name, and a great performance, even with a little bit of for fun off-rolling in the decider.
Some new role swaps, no problem for the side of SVSU. Are able to dominate this series in 3-0 fashion, get that bronze finish, and just put an exclamation point on the end of the series. Would they wish they could have won the whole thing? Sure, but still a podium finish. And again, as you talked about, they're probably the ones who gave the eventual winners the closest fight.
That's what it looked like from the bracket, so I don't want to say I'm not super surprised, but definitely not that shocked to see that they walked out. And even from map 1, and it's hard to tell, especially the first round of control. You might know the difference in skill between certain teams, but it's kind of hard to tell on 3 team fights usually who actually has the advantage. But by round 2 of Ilios, it felt like SVSU had a pretty good foothold on the series. And then map 2 obviously looked incredible. And then when we get a message in the chat from J-Rod saying, by the way, we're going to make a few switches this game, we're going to have some fun, and it still looked amazing. So give all the credit to SVSU, and obviously Wolfpack top four, nothing to scoff at. Still an incredible run, incredible season. And I'm sure, listen, lots of fun along the way. It's been a great semester of Overwatch 2.
Yeah, before we go, want to thank a lot of these sponsors. We have Extron, Wenzel's Blue Light, Blue Eye. They were all amazing for us this entire semester. This is the last broadcast from NECC for the fall semester. We will be back in the spring. I think it's going to be around February-ish when we start up again. So you don't want to miss that. But from all of us here at NECC, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great semester. And please, please, please enjoy your holidays, be safe, and just have a great end of the year. We will see you guys next year.